Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video with me, Matt Goddard from the Boxing Locker. It's been a long time since I've done one of these, but this felt like something that needed talking about. I've posted a few videos on my Facebook, Instagram about this, and it is the heavyweight clash between undefeated, former undisputed, multi-weight world champion Alexander Usyk, the Ukrainian king, the cat, I believe was his nickname when he first turned professional. And of course, the 1-0, one bout that is, keep that in mind, 1-0 professional boxer, but also multi-time kickboxing champion and widely recognized one of the best kickboxers on the planet, Rico Vorhoeven. And listen, this has been controversial. I posted some content, obviously with kind of inflammatory titles and whatnot, similar to the picture on this one. But the reality is, this is how the fight played out. For me, Rico was 7 rounds up going into the 11th. I had Rico winning 7 rounds. There's two parts to that. The first is I believe that Oleksandr Usyk came in too heavy. His legs were slow, and he wasn't active enough. Now, for me, that could be one of many reasons. One could be that he's been suffering with some injuries through camp, and he didn't want to cancel the fight. It's obviously big money in it, and he probably thought, even subconsciously, that it may have been a slightly easier fight than some of his other opponents. Second thing is age. Obviously, age is a factor. It's easy to ignore that, but age is a factor. Even in the heavyweights, heavyweights need to slow down a little bit as they get older. They tend to slow down through their legs. As you watch with George Foreman, see George Foreman's early career was quite light on his feet for a guy of his size. And when he came back as an older man, he was much slower, much steadier, much heavier. And I think that may have had a part. But then also the final thing is, I think they had no experience and no film to study representative of how Rico would box. So I presume that they, having watched some of his kickboxing footage, would have seen that he would be quite upright and presume that he would box upright with his hands high, box him up here, everything nice and long and straight. And I think maybe Peter Fury's strategy of staying low, rolled up into a shell, rounding his back, as we saw with Turpin when he boxed Sugar Ray Robinson all them years ago, was a surprise technique, a surprise tactic from Rico's team. And I think maybe that caused Usyk a few problems early on. Now, what did Rico do well? He threw punches in volume. He was relaxed with his shots. He didn't stiffen up. So it's harder to defend them relaxed shots because they're not as well telegraphed. There's not as much of a sign that they're coming. It's also easier to chain together random punches. The shot selection doesn't have to be as perfect because I can just ping this hand, there, there. And they haven't always got to be real punches. They can just kind of be arms flung at the target no matter where they're moving. It's also a great way of tracking a mobile opponent. If my opponent is moving and I'm stiff with that shot, it's easy for them to evade me. If I'm loose with it, I can go again and follow them and I can pick them up. And that's what we saw with Rico, especially early on. Now, obviously, Rico is not used to fighting 12 rounds. So maybe Usyk's team suspected that he would slow down as the fight went on, which, given their dues, he did. He did slow down. And the work that Usyk was doing started to have an effect. You know, Usyk's accuracy was still there. He was still picking fantastic shots throughout. He was landing those uppercuts. He was throwing the jab. He was chopping with hooks. And he was doing well. But for me, it wasn't enough to win the rounds. As I said, I had it 7-3 going into the 11th round. Now, let's talk about the controversy around that. Do I think it was a good stoppage? No. For me, Rico was down, hurt, and he was given the count. Now, when he gets back up, he's actually responding. When the ref jumps in, he's responding. He's firing back and he's moving off. He's made that active decision. Now, did he look particularly stable? No. For me, it was more a case of imbalance. He looked more like George Foreman against Muhammad Ali. I don't think Ali switched off Foreman's lights, but Foreman was so exhausted he couldn't respond. I think if Rico had been given the opportunity to have the minute rest, then one of two things would have happened. He would have been in with a chance of winning the fight on points had he then succeeded to win that last round. I know the points didn't dictate that he was in the lead, which is another controversy. But also it would have given Usyk a chance to get a legitimate knockout without any of the controversy around it. I think the ref jumped in too early. I think he ignored the timer. He should have been listening and would have heard that there was very, very little time left on the clock. A comparison was made to Tyson Fury being given the amount of time he was and not being stopped when he was saved by the ropes. He was in far worse condition than Rico in this situation. So there you go. Look, he recovered and managed to make it through the 12th to take the fight to points. So listen, it's something to think about. Now the judging on that, awful. For me, I don't see. I don't see how they can ignore so much of the successful work that Rico was doing. Now, I'm not saying it was beautifully clean, massively impactful, but if you keep hitting someone around the face and there is a visible reaction to that, then you can't ignore it. It counts. It means something, and I don't think they took that into account properly in their scoring. I also don't think anyone really expected it. It was a big surprise. Very few people predicted that would happen. Obviously, we knew that Rico was a tough guy, a strong guy, a very fit guy, a guy with a lot of combat experience. But generally, the thought pattern is that it's not the same. But we've seen now twice with with sorry, weird noise. With Francis Ngannou against Tyson Fury, and with now with Rico against Usyk. So listen, it's interesting. The reality is, I think the right man did win. I think he would have won in the next round. I think he would have stopped him. I don't think Rico had the resistance, and Usyk seemed to have figured out those uppercuts were the key. However, I do think it was a robbery in terms of giving Rico a chance. You know, he's a warrior. He's a combat athlete. He's done it his whole life. He doesn't want to be taken out by the referee. He'd rather go out on his shield. And I don't think he was having any serious damage done to him. They weren't kind of either enormous volumes of blows or enormously dangerous concussive blows. So listen, let me know what you think in the thoughts below, in the comments below. Any questions you may have, any other videos that you want to see me do. Big up and thanks for tuning in as always. And I'll see you for the next one.